4, 3, 2. What's good? What's good? This is the Gentleman's Guide podcast where we seek to unpack manhood one day at a time. I am your host, B. Barnes.
Man, co-host here, Seti, man. How you doing, man? How you feeling, B?
Hey, man, it's been a while. Life been lifing, as you already know.
I understand,
Life
man.
of a husband and a father of 3.
Absolutely.
It can be daunting at times, as you.
I'm with you, man. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Very, very special, very special guest and special topic that we want to get into today, man.
Yep.
Kind of on a serious note, but we're gonna make light of it. Some call her Val, some call her Valerie, some call her VJ. To me, she's always Val, always gonna be Val. One of my near and dear undergrad friends. Had a lot of experiences and a lot of laughters in school, man. So, without further ado, we'd love to introduce all of our followers, as well as NC WC, now WU alum Valerie herself.
Shout out to NC Wesley.
Thank you so much. Yeah, shout out to NCWC where we met. Definitely a lot of memories.
Absolutely.
Feel like definitely helped shape us into the people we are today. So
absolutely.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
Definitely glad to have you. But before we get started, something that we always do every episode. As you can see, the collection behind us. I always try to pick a whiskey or bourbon of a choice. That's my preferred drink of choice. Today I'm going with High West Cask Strength. Brandon, what you got?
Man, I got a little Sir Davis on the docket today, man.
Okay.
I tried it out. Massetti wasn't a huge fan of it. I actually like it. It's pretty good. People asking, "Did you like it? What do you?" A lot of people ask about Sir Davis. Don't really drink whiskey. It's like, do you like whiskey? If you don't like whiskey, you probably won't like it.
You're not gonna like it.
Now, if you just want to get it for the culture, that's one thing. But
yeah,
I got it because I actually wanted to try it.
Absolutely.
I've acquired a taste for
absolutely.
Bourbon for whiskey. So that's where I'm at with it.
We're here for it. Val, I know you may not been prepared for it, but what are you drinking? Well, I saw you have a cup over there.
Yeah, got me a little yogi tea, sweet tangerine, fresh squeezed lemon.
Good for the vocal cords. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do? We're gonna cheers to connecting with long friends and to another amazing episode.
Yes, sir.
Cheers.
So Val,
let's get into it.
Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So how this came about, give you a little backstory. Val and I both graduated in 2006. I'm sorry, 2010. We graduated undergrad in 2010. We hadn't seen each other since. And then we randomly ran into each other at one of our other friends. He had an event. He's a director of Lifetime. Shout out to Zoe over there at Lifetime. I ran into each other there, and we were just catching up. And I mentioned, "Hey Val, you always have those, conversations. How's life, man? It's been, God knows, 15 years.
A long time.
But, so 14 years. What have you been up to? How's life? And then that's when we kind of got into what she does for a living, and we're gonna get into that. I let her know that, hey, I'm the co-host of a podcast. Would love to have you in. When people see each other, they always shoot the breeze. They always, yeah, we can do something. You can do something.
Yeah.
So I after the meeting, after we saw each other, I followed up with her, and she was like, "Oh, guys, you followed up. Like you kept your word." And that's something that I definitely try to be strong on. So it took a little bit of time. Schedules didn't align. But that one thing that I really wanted to do is get the message that Val has out to our people, more specifically the men. And I felt like this was the perfect platform, being the Gentleman's Guide, that get that message out. So here we are. So Val, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What you do? Why is the message so important to you to continue to get out?
Yes. I mean, I'm just a girl, that went through her own personal health changes, through in life. I've had my own experiences with providers and doctors that kind of made me begin to focus on my health and begin to advocate for myself in different areas of my health. And once I started making changes of my own, I started to receive a lot of feedback. A lot of it was positive, and I began to get a lot of questions about what I was doing to change my health personally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it was like, at first I was just like, like, dang, people keep asking me questions. Like, like, I don't know, like I'm just kind of trying to do the best I can.
Trying to figure
But
it
then
out.
I realized, yes, I realized people were looking for help. I realized people were, really needing some guidance. And so that's when it became more personal and more important to me. And it's resonated with me so much to be able to help people that it really made me change my entire career path and go back to
Mm-hmm.
school
Wow.
for nutrition and integrative health. And that's how that's how I got into this.
That's what's up.
Yeah, for sure. When you say, without giving any, further details, but just on a broad scale, you say you had your own personal struggles. That was changed the mindset, and how did that impact your daily, where you wanted to dive more deep into it?
Yes, really. Yes, I had my own personal struggles, but it was more so like, even with my family history, a lot of chronic conditions in my family, a lot of people may even experience this. People say it's genetic, which it can be,
Mm-hmm.
but I started to realize that some of the things that I was, feeling or going through, just feeling tired, sluggish, or just different aches and pains, I'm like, I can do something about this.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
I was like, I don't want to. I'm like, I can prevent chronic conditions if I
absolutely.
change my lifestyle. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and start doing what I can. But then when I went to go see a primary care physician, who was like the first, maybe second time I had seen this person, they kind of just brushed me off and was like, well, try, try doing one of these fad diets like you see on TV or something like that. And
Yeah,
it was just like, what? Like it was like you didn't even listen to what I'm saying,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so I was like, okay, I felt like I was kind of in it by myself. And I just started kind of doing my own research
Mm-hmm.
on what I could do to change my life and focus on like um, how important just exercise, using exercise as a form of medicine, nutrition, medical nutrition therapy, and then having people come into my life that were kind of feeding me. Like I had a great personal trainer that I started working with, and people just started coming into my life like they were like, "Keep going, you're doing something, keep it moving, and keep it moving forward."
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's kind of how that went.
No, so just touching back on something that you just said, do you feel like that's what happens a lot, and more so in the Black community, right? That where you have primary care doctors, that are pushed to the side, and then they use these words. Uh, do you have a history in your family of these health problems? Now, oh, it's genetic. Let me put you on this pill. Let me put you on this pill. Did
Yeah.
you see that? Did you experience any of that? And if you did, how did you overcome, just settling for that?
That is that is such a great question. So first of all, it is hard to find people who look like us
Yeah.
as providers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no secret. Even this was, oof, as aged me. This was like 10 years ago where this was
My bad, my
started my
bad, my bad, my
journey,
bad, my
Hey,
bad.
hey,
It's okay. We just maturing, that's all.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
this was even then, and even today, it's so hard to find providers that are, you know, that look like
Understand?
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that understand. And also, even so, the pressures, even if you do find someone, they have pressures coming from their side too. Like you got to get this person in and out. You know, you have 15 minutes with this person, or you have, I think at one point it dropped down to 5 minutes with this person.
Yeah.
Like there was a rotation schedule. So I feel, you know, I understand the pressure from their side. But yes, I found it challenging. And yes, I did have people, this is before the Ozempic era, just a little, you know. So it wasn't too much medication I could be put on because I didn't have any chronic conditions, but there was like this, well, get these type of shots to be able to lose the weight or be able to, you know, start to get that energy. And I'm like, um, I'm not taking those shots. No offense to anybody that has to, but I'm like, I don't need to do that. I need
That's not for you.
discipline. It's not for me. And I would say, like, why do it if I don't need to and become dependent on something that may possibly, you know, lead to more health issues if I take that route. So yes, there was some kind of pressure there, but for me, I said, I don't want to be on any medication. I don't want to depend on it. I don't want, yeah, you know, like, and there is another way. Of course, everyone is different. So everyone's going to have different things that work for them.
Right.
But for me at that time, and we were young, you know, graduating from college, like I didn't want to do that. So I just chose a different route and also began to speak to people and let them know it's possible to make change. And, you know, even though it's not always talked about, when you have somebody that is, you know, there and you see it in front of you, you know, you can become your own agent of change.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Drop a bomb for you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Facts. When you first started this, did you have a goal in mind, whether that be like physical look or actual scale weight, or what motivated you each day?
Okay, so I will say I was younger at the time. So I guess, you know, aesthetics, I think, played a part. Like I always, like when I was younger, I like my favorite movie. Well, I have so many favorite movies, but you know, I love like the fashion movies and the Sex and the City and the Clueless. And I'm like, oh, I need that outfit. I mean, I already was cool. I already, you know, was like dressing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It don't matter. But I was like, yeah, I want that. You know what I'm saying? But so there was that, you know, just wanting to kind of get into your goal, you know, outfit just as a, you know, lady, a girl. But really what was a huge motivating factor for me is my my father really young had a heart attack. And before he was, I want to say he was 40, maybe a little younger, I can't remember. But he had to have quadruple bypass surgery. And he was young. He was like under 45, I think it was.
I heard
and
that.
Yeah, yes, you know, and so he had a heart attack really young. He had heart surgery really young. And I'm like, this is my father, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like it's like the direct line. And I'm like, okay, like I don't want to have to go through those things. So it became a thing of like, you know, make some changes. This is about your health. Like you don't want to go through these things. So when I started to feel like my health was not the best, I was like, we got to make some changes because you do not want to be like, that's not what you want for yourself. So
for sure.
No, definitely. No, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Like just being vulnerable for a second, and being transparent. I think that it is, you know, as we continue to get into these conversations and the platform that Brandon and I just want to create is, you know, really just an open platform for, you know, transparency without, you know, being too, you know, in depth and in detail. So, you know, we definitely want to appreciate you for, you know, just taking that moment just to, you know, be a little vulnerable with us and our followers and listeners.
Yep.
You know, that really just helps set the groundwork for, you know, the aspect, the conversation in which we're going to get into, which I think is going to be super, super dope. Before we get into that, Brandon, what you got for me?
No, real quick side note. I'm sensing DMV, Baltimore-ish area. Is that accurate?
Oh, be more all day, baby.
I'm about to say that's what I'm sensing. You know, it's very, it's very vivid.
Oh yeah.
And you actually corrected yourself one time. You said a word. I can't remember what word it was, but you said it first,
father,
you
said
said
father.
Yeah, you said father, and then you said father. I was like, oh, she tried.
You know, I'm trying to look.
Hey, you ain't gotta reel it back. Let it out.
Yeah,
let it out. Let it all out.
Do you? Hey, we accept you how you are, man. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, this my dog right here, man. We had a lot of good times in undergrad, man.
Let that be more out of there.
Yeah. Hey, we used to get into. I used to get in trouble. Well, I used to get her in trouble in undergrad.
Yeah. Oh my
I used to get her in trouble all the time, man. Undergrad.
Yes.
I was just
He was a bad influence.
acting a fool, and you know, like she's doing. She's such her personality is such a vibrant personality. You know, she can't help but to laugh sometimes. And
Thanks, Sonny. And I have to say too, like, I mean, I just love to see like how, because I consider us being in school like we was kids, you know what I mean? Like we started out as kids, and yes, Ms. Sonny, I try not to, you know, be reminding you of how you used to be, you know, but great always, just keeping me laughing or something like.
Hey, it ain't nothing changed.
Yeah, right.
He's still core. He's still at the core. He the same person.
Yes.
We mature. Right? We grow and mature. Yes. But
yes. But I just love to see the growth. Like it's amazing. Like
beautiful
just
thing.
how, you know, just the growth that has happened and to see this platform. Like it's just amazing to see all the things that were in us just kind of like come out. So
yeah, for sure. No, same. I appreciate it. Switch gears a little bit. You did mention something a little bit earlier, where you said it was this caused the career change. So let's talk about that. Let's get into that. You know, what were you doing at first, and what did you change to because of this? You know, because of the things that you was going through in your personal life, that where you felt like it would be beneficial for you to make that career change.
That is y'all got some great questions. Y'all must really did that.
Hey, said it be on it. Said it be on it.
Yes. It's so funny because so after undergrad, finishing undergrad, I worked at the airport for a while. I got into property management, and I worked in that field for about 8 or 9 years. That was total before I was done with it. Or, you know, before I transitioned. But it's funny because like just doing that, it was just a job. You know what I mean? It was just like, okay. I mean, and I come across some great people. I think I served my purpose there where I was at the time. And at one point it was a job that I had that I could like do. I mean, I don't know, can I say this on camera? I could like could do my homework. And, like I could do,
we all been there. We all been there.
Yeah, right. So I was like, thank you, Lord, for having me, you know, in this spot. But I was doing it and it was like, this isn't rewarding for me. This isn't fulfilling for me. And it was funny because like I never imagined that I could really make real change in my health and fitness and wellness, well-being. And just even my patterns, my lifestyle changes, that was not something that I even really thought was possible. I just was going for it, you know, and, you know, didn't even think that I would really, you know, didn't imagine. So when, like I was saying, when I was making these changes and people kept asking me, you know, I was like, dang, you know, I really love the aspect of nutrition, like how that lifestyle makes a difference. Like if we can learn these things early on, if we can teach these things, people know what to do. Because that's where I see the biggest change, you know, when I changed what I was eating, when I changed what I was feeding myself, you know, this was where that huge shift landed. So I wanted to do that. I was at work one day and I started searching for programs in the area. And so the same day that the open house was going for Maryland University, I was like, it was the same day that I searched for it. I was like, well, I just go out here to this open house. So I went out there and I was like, you know what? They started talking about the program. I'm like, this is actually sounding like what I want to do. And so I entered into that process. And I just want to say that, I'm not, the Lord gonna show up because I love the Lord. So I gotta say,
hey, big shouts out to what they be saying, G Daddy upstairs.
I say big God, big God.
Yes. So I'm not trying to, get too, but no, he gonna show up. But like, I felt led to really start the program, and it's like, you start it, and it's like, oh yes, I am doing this. Thank you, Lord. I'm walking in purpose. And then like halfway through it, you like, oh my gosh, like, did I hear you right? Because I didn't know I was going to have to take organic chemistry. I didn't know I was going to have to do all this. Like, and then, like,
man,
I'm like,
tell me about it. You thinking you're taking this curriculum and all of a sudden you got to take German over here, chemistry over here. Like, bro, tell me about it.
I can't. Yeah.
You preaching to the choir.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. So it was definitely a process, but once I came out of it, it was so rewarding. Like, and it was for anybody who wants to go back or wants to, it's not always easy. It's a challenge, but if you really feel like this is what you should be doing, just do your best to see it through, because I did, and there were hiccups along the way, but what I'm doing now is because of what I did then. So
that's a testimony right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Testimony.
My question to you, or my first official question is, why is men's health so important? Because I don't know the specific numbers, but we all know it's understood that women, on average, live longer than men. I don't know what the numbers are specifically in the Black community, but and I can name some things because we've talked about lives. We deserve to grow old, right?
Yes.
Black men. So just from your perspective, from your experience, from your knowledge, what you know now, why is men's health so important?
One of the things you just said, longevity, having the chance to see the legacy that you're building actually play out. Yeah. You both are married with children, and you want to be here to be able to see your children grow up, possibly even see your children's children. You want to create those memories with your family. And also, quality of life. You don't just want to live and be here and like, okay, but you have to sit everything out because you're unable to move the way you want to move, or you're unable to breathe the way you want to breathe, because things aren't working for you. And of course, we don't know what life is going to throw us, but if we can help it with the choices that we make, then that is what makes the difference. And so I would say it starts there. Yeah. It starts there.
Understanding that what's in front of you is more important than what's behind you. I forgot who said that recently, and it stuck with me. Like it was some celebrity. He was on a podcast, and I think it was Young Dro. Young Dro was on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about perfect. He really perfect plug.
He was overdosing.
Yeah, the lifestyle he was living, and it wasn't a healthy lifestyle. He was like, man, once I realized what was in front of me was more important than what was behind me, that's what really kind of made him make that shift. You know what I'm saying?
You said something a few minutes ago, Brandon, and thank you, Val, for providing some of this. I'm gonna give out some quotes here, and numbers. 350 men die of cardiovascular disease every year. 750 men are diagnosed with cancer every year. 300,000 of those 700,000 result in a death. 230,000 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer. I definitely want to talk about that one as I creep up on 40.
Better get that colonoscopy.
Literally just had this conversation today, actually. 3 out of 5 men get a physical every year. 40% of men only go to the doctor when they think something of serious medical condition, and more than half of the men said their health wasn't something that they talk about.
Yeah. It's
Let that sit in.
Yeah, you can on so many levels you can kind of go down go into the conversation. Specifically, what hit me was not talking about it. Why?
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Men and our health. Why don't y'all talk about their health, man? Why is that? Why is that a thing? Why don't we talk about what's going on, whether that's physical, mental, emotional?
Yeah.
Why do you feel like? But we're specifically, let's talk about physical. Why do you feel like the experiences that you have, the now that you in this career path, that you feel like men don't talk about their health?
This is funny to hear y'all saying this, because that's what stuck out to me the most was talking. And I laugh, or I think about it, because there's times where I may maybe be talking to people kind of like in a more open, broad group. And then no one says anything. Like, let's say we're talking, let's say it was like 2 other guys here talking, you know what I'm saying? Or 2 other guys here on this call. And I just kind of ran through some things just like you just did, or said, there's things that can help you. These are resources that are able to help you. Usually nobody will say anything. But then when everybody's off doing their thing, I'll get 3 out of 4 of those people that come to me like, when you said something about this, I wanted to ask you, what else can I do? So I'm not a man. I don't know exactly why in your mind you don't want to talk about it amongst the group. I don't know for sure, but I find that maybe there is, just kind of like, maybe there's a, and I'll say for, our community, like you say, like, things are not always discussed openly. Things are not always, we're just kind of getting to a point where even mental health, or like you said, even focusing on physical health is something that is becoming priority. And it's like, well, we're all going through these things, but I have to keep a face like nothing is wrong.
Hey,
why?
You gotta be strong. You gotta be strong. You gotta be the backbone. You gotta be the provider. All these traditional things that we had that was put on us for not bad reasons. Like, you should want to provide as a man, but
absolutely,
the way we've been socialized since we were born is like,
socialized and desocialized.
Yeah, like you're taught not to talk about certain things, not directly but indirectly. Like you said, you learn certain behaviors from your uncles, from your granddaddy, from your grandma, from everybody, from your parents. Like, you learn all these behaviors, and that becomes your norm. And that's at least that's just from my perspective. You know what I'm saying?
And I've grown, just to touch back on that, I've learned that when it comes to talking about it, to me it's therapeutic. I got a homeboy right now that does take blood pressure pills. I got a homegirl that does take blood pressure pills, and it's part of their everyday life. I got another homeboy that, when mentioned about therapy, he said, why fix something that's not broken? And you think about those things, and I'm a big advocate for therapy. I see my therapist twice a week. I do talk about it. I got other friends that talk about getting a vasectomy. That's open about it, and where it's
I'm one of them.
Hey, I ain't want to say it.
I'm one of them.
I ain't want to say it, B.
Go ahead and get it. $40 copay. Get the vasectomy.
I ain't want to put you out there like
get
that.
get it.
Hey,
Hey,
gotta
I have not been shy about that. Historically,
Hey,
most guys
I
don't
ain't
know
wanna-
much about it, right? So
Yeah.
when I posted get what Gad posted something online, and then I posted or whatever, just like, hey, I got a second.
It was super dope the way they did about it. Val, you don't follow him, but I'll let Brandon. We're talking about it.
She
I'll
got
let
me.
Brandon tell you.
She got me a little gift basket with in it, and she got like vasectomy themed candy. So like, and she'll let's say she got like a milk dud, but it was really like duds, but she put like something on the bottom. It was just a funny, a funny gag gift or whatever. So I wasn't shy about posting this online. I was like, bro, this should be normalized. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of different reasons, not just for men, but for the health of your partner too. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
But yeah, man, it was crazy all the questions that I was getting from other guys that I know that I don't know as well. But I was like, wow, y'all really don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's never talked about.
Right.
Before, because my brother got one, my older brother got one. I got a cousin. My cousin, her husband got one as well. So I knew people who have gotten one.
Yeah.
And prior to them, my ignorance was just as deep as the guys that were asking me these crazy questions. Like, yo, can you boom boom boom? I was like, yeah, bro. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? 7 days. I'm good. I can fight after 7 days. I was straight, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, when you don't, like, going back to the point, and it's funny. It is funny, but also going back to the point.
Yeah.
No,
you're
funny.
I was like, hey, I can throw some jab. Yeah. But going back to the point was not talking about it. It leaves everybody, one, it becomes a taboo thing, and everybody's just ignorant. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I know that kind of went specifically to vasectomy, but overall, everything that you mentioned, I didn't want to. I want to let you finish your point as well. So I'm sorry. Massetti.
No.
Or yeah.
No, this is great.
Yeah.
I think it comes back to that vulnerability piece too.
Absolutely.
That you spoke of earlier, like there is so much strength in vulnerability, and I had to learn that.
Yeah.
Like we just talked about, where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
Like people ain't vulnerable.
Yeah.
Talking about how they feel, especially
you gotta have that hard exterior, yeah.
Yes, especially, I mean, now, it might be different now to a certain degree, but we talking like the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Like people are not there. No. Even for myself, it was like always we talk about being transparent, if I'm being honest, like it was like, no, you need to harden up. You need to this, you need to that, to the point where it's like, I almost kind of like had to suppress who I really was, because it's like, you can't show like you can't show that you excited and happy. You gotta be, ready to,
But you know why? We talked about this in the previous, in probably what,
couple teach years? Your man how to squabble.
Teach your boy how to squabble. But no, we talked about this in a while back, Seti, talking about generational curses, where it's like it was to a degree, being hard, having a hard exterior was in a lot of cases was a survival mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Whether you grew up in a hard area or when you go way back, like black folk had to survive. So certain things we just couldn't indulge in. We didn't have the privilege of, talking about our feelings. So you fast forward generations later, and that's the normal behavior. That's not something that we do, especially as men. God forbid you talk about your feelings, and all of a sudden your boy's looking at you like, hey, bro, like, what's going on? Like, why we talking about this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we ain't talking about sports today. Nah, bro. I need to get my.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah,
let's talk about
I got a sweet tooth. I need to set up a dentist appointment. I got a sweet tooth. I need to get. Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah. Like, I'm talking about myself. I got to set up a dentist appointment.
Oh, boy, Hey, I thought you was rolling with that.
No. I'm dead serious. I am rolling, but I'm dead serious too. Yeah.
Me too. I understand.
Yeah, I had to leave the candy alone, man. God.
I recently had a conversation with one of my homeboys.
Yeah.
Man, shout out to my boy Dancy, man. And I definitely want to, and I specifically say him, because I've been seeing his transformation, and his dedication, and now I'm seeing just how driven he is. And he posted something today. Dancy, I've been seeing you, bro. Like, I really been seeing you. I'm impressed and proud of you. But the physical transformation that he's been going on. And we really just had like a conversation over the course of his transformation, about just, and it was a conversation we've never really had. I've never really talked with him about it. Yeah, I'm an athlete. Yeah, we work out. Yeah, we can do whatever. But now it's more of a purpose-filled a goal rather than just doing something occasional. So now he's saying things like, "Oh, I want this goal by this. I want this goal by this." So now, by him professing his goals, talking about it, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Now it gives me, okay, it's not a competition thing, but now it's like, let's iron sharpen iron. So I literally just asked him the other day, "Hey, bro, what you benching right now? What you doing on this?" And he shot me a text. He was like, "Boom, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. By the end of the year, I want this." I'm like, bet. Let's, what I'm saying, do it. I did the same thing with Fred. Same day, actually the same day. As soon as I sent that text message to him, I sent the same text message to Fred, because Fred is on the same type of wave.
Yeah.
Like, yo, what's your goal for this? Okay, boom. Now I know where I'm at, and now I can push you because now you're pushing me. So boom, let's hit these goals together. And I think that's something that doesn't happen a lot of times in our community, especially Black men. And I think it needs to be discussed, needs to be talked about more. But we also have to a different aspect of it, allow and provide
Excuse
those.
me. I had to sneeze. I'm sorry.
No, bless you. Provide the Val stock.
Bless you.
Provide those rooms and areas for people to feel comfortable to talk about those things.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I just had a sinus infection last week. What y'all do for sinus infection? You know what I'm saying? Man, I just went to the doctor for high blood pressure, man. Y'all ever had that? Man, my blood pressure was X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Have y'all ever had those conversations? I think with your doctor, I think those are more so the things that we have to like kind of be intentional about.
Yeah.
And not scorn or make people and people feel less than, but also like, okay, what are they saying? Not to be in your personal business, but are there alternate routes? What can you change? How can I help you change those things? You know what I'm saying? And that for so diving into men's health, what are some factors for that impacts men's health, and more so in a negative way, but what can they change? What are some things that some common things that you've seen that can change, that can help them in a positive?
Yes, I would say some things that do impact in a negative way would be like lack of resources.
Okay.
There are times, where, I mean, we know that healthcare is a thing, like not everyone has access to healthcare coverage. And so that is something that's a thing there, knowing what type of things what other resources maybe they're available to you if you don't have health insurance coverage, because I have met men who, become in debt because they underwent something that they couldn't help during the time that they may have been unemployed, or during the time they may have had a job that did not provide health insurance. And so now they have, now they're impacted in another way because of medical.
Them bills be crazy too.
Yes. So that's one thing that I would say. And when I say like negative, everything is reversible. It takes time. Things can happen, but maybe even just knowing what what resources you have available through where you're living, through your state. You know, there's nothing wrong with, if you need it, taking some state coverage. I mean, it's better to have something there available so that you're not having to, you know, pay everything, that there is some type of cap on how much they can charge you.
Yeah.
You know, so things like that. I would say that mental health plays a bigger part than what we really think as a,
Okay.
yes. And the reason I say that is because, you know, lifestyle. If you are someone who cannot seem to put down the alcohol or cannot put down the smoking,
Yep.
cannot put down the drugs. What was we just talking about? The
Stupid.
I'm not an alcoholic. People.
okay.
I'm not an alcoholic, people. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not.
Okay, so look.
Hey, go ahead, B. Go ahead.
Moderation.
He not. He really.
Moderation.
Yeah, I think everything. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You
know,
Wait, you said it as I was literally about to take a drink.
You were like, oh.
Oh man.
I'm gonna sit this down on the table down. I'm gonna sit it on the table.
Okay.
No, we're good. It's all.
So
Let the ice melt. Let the ice melt.
let me specify. If used in excess,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
suppress whatever is really going on
There you
and
go.
not facing the issue that's causing you to use these things as a
Right.
Coping mechanism. Yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
you know, like then this becomes a health issue. Like we can, you know, I know there are stats out there of how, you know, just drugs and alcohol can affect your health long term.
Yeah.
Of course, there's nothing wrong with having a little bourbon, a
For
little
sure.
whiskey every now and then.
A little drinky drink.
Yeah.
Yes, like I'm not, look, I'm not coming for, I'm not coming for nobody doing what you want to do at all. You know, like not at all. Come on now, not at all.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it's like when we start to use this as a way to escape what's really happening in our lives,
That's something different.
you know, then it's like, okay, how is this affecting my health? You know, and then a lot of times when you are using those mechanisms, your senses are kind of jaded, they're low. You don't care about what you eat, you don't care about what you drink, you're just kind of feeding you're just kind of feeding that feeling. You know, if you tend to maybe drink a little bit more than what would be considered you know, just like, you know, recommended, then you may need to feed that, and you may not be feeding that with the best thing. So that can lead to, what am I eating? What am I doing? You know, is this causing chronic conditions? You know, these types of things. But I ain't coming for nobody, okay?
No, we good. Hey, follow. She good. We good. You're safe here. You're safe here, Val. You're safe here.
If you want your Sir Davis, get your Sir Davis. If you want,
but
right, look.
I did want to touch back on something you said, but I don't want to forget about the nutrition part about it as well. I definitely want to key in on that. But something you said a few minutes ago is, if you don't have medical insurance, it's okay to get state insurance. Let's talk about that for a second, because I don't think a lot of people know what that looks like or consists of. So just elaborate on that. You know, if someone out there that doesn't have state insurance, man or woman, you know, no matter your ethnicity, how can they go about getting health insurance? And we also know that states vary. Rules and regulations vary by state. But if you can just like give like a high level of, you know, what state insurance is, you know, how it works and how to get those resources, that'd be great.
Yes, no, that is such a good point. And like you said, states do vary, so it can be different state to state. But if you are someone that you know, possibly may be unemployed, or do not have health insurance through your employer, you know, you may be eligible if you go to your state website, like, you know, state of Michigan, state of, you know, like Michigan.gov, you know, these, or whatever state you're in, there's usually a government site that you can go to for your state. and you should be able to see where it says insurance,
Yeah.
health insurance, health coverage, and be able to see what may be available, so that you're able to have some type of resource. This would be kind of in that same arena of if you are getting assistance possibly with maybe your program for food stamps, or anything else that might be kind of like government assistance.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you need to do that, like, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no shame in that.
Absolutely not.
It's
Yeah.
there for a reason. It's there
Exactly.
for a reason.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially, like I was saying, and like we were kind of just agreeing and talking, like, it's better to have a cap on that bill if possible than to have it all fall on you. And even if that's your story right now, it doesn't mean it cannot be reversed. So
What you just say, everything can be reversed.
Yeah.
yes,
Literally just said that.
yes.
I think that's dope, man. So, everybody that's out there, man, if you don't have health insurance, like you said, go out there, see what resources you have available. Go to the doctor, man. Get a physical.
Fellas.
See somebody. And specifically to my fellas, not to leave my ladies out, but we are on the Gentleman's Guide. But hey, fellas, it's okay, man. Let's stay healthy. We got kids out here. We gotta maintain our livelihood for them. Because this is a cruel world for our Black and brown young boys and young girls, man, and it can get even uglier without a father, and to be without a father because of health reasons, because he never went to the doctor.
Something that could have been prevented.
That could have been prevented. How many stories do we hear about that says, oh, we didn't know that he was stage 3 cancer because of he never came to the doctor,
or he just didn't want nobody to know.
Yeah.
I heard that story too.
He didn't want,
I ain't want to see me like
doctor,
that.
Fellas. Let's go to the doctors. And ladies.
Tell your man to go to the doctor.
Yeah, there you go.
Tell your man to go to the doctor.
Because look, they say married men live longer because their wife is a get your go on. Do what you got to do.
I literally just had this conversation this morning, and it was so ironic. It was so ironic, know. And you're touching 40 now.
Get that colonoscopy, bro. Fellas,
that,
look. Let's break it down. Have you had one before, Machete? If no, I can break it down for you.
I haven't.
So Crohn's disease run in my family. My mom has Crohn's. Yeah. My brother has Crohn's. I have Crohn's. I know a guy I went to school with. Bro, you did know this. Come on, man.
I didn't know. I knew Drew.
Bro.
Dang, my bad.
It didn't affect me the same way as Drew. Drew was a bit more extreme
I didn't know
case.
you had it. I never knew. I always knew Drew, But
about 5 years ago, I was this skinny. I'll see you some pictures. Mercedes, he got an old man. He getting old. But
no, I remember everything. But go ahead.
My point.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to break it down for the fellas, because when you don't when you got so much uncertainty, you just get paralysis by analysis, or nothing happens, right? So colonoscopy is very simple. It's a simple procedure. They take a camera and they go up in your colon. They go through your rectum, through your butt. We're gonna say what it is. Call it what it is. Huh?
A hammer?
Camera.
A camera.
Oh, I thought you said hammer. I said,
That's the Carolina coming out. Hey, I'm talking real. The draw is coming out. Anyway, they said,
so I knew that.
They put you under though. You're not awake when this is happening.
That's what I literally just said. I said, put me under sedasis.
I mean, that's a standard. That's a standard operating procedure. That's what they do, right?
Hey,
but
B.
before that, the night before, they give you this what you call Suprep, where it basically clean you out, right?
Hey B,
what's up? Knock them out.
Put me under.
Right? So they clean. So to get all the stuff out of your intestines and colon and everything, so they can see clearly what they need to see with the camera, right?
Yeah.
You literally go there. They prep you. They give you an IV. You go under. When you wake up, it was as if you took a nap. And I just have the privilege of I work in clinical research on the operation side. So
Yeah.
the studies that I work for, I look at a lot of colonoscopy reports. So I can even, you know what I'm saying? Now, when I got one,
You can read your own report.
I can read my own report now. I know exactly what the language is now. Then I didn't really know much about it. But my point is, it's a very, very, it's invasive, yes. An invasive.
Easy process.
Invasive, yes, because they're literally going inside of your body, right? But like,
Absolutely.
It's a very, very easy process. And I'm only saying this because
but it's needed.
It's needed because colorectal cancer is one of the biggest. And again, I'm not about to quote no numbers or anything, but one of the biggest.
I got you on the numbers.
Go ahead.
No, go. I'm gonna let you finish.
No, I'll say colorectal cancer is one of the. It affects black males at a higher percentage than a lot of other demographics. That's my understanding.
Thank you to Miss Val. Prostate cancer affects 1 in 9 men. There are about 175,000 new cases of prostate cancer diagnosed each year, and prostate cancer is most common cancer amongst African American men. Oh, I'm sorry, amongst American men. I added that in. So yeah, those are the numbers for you.
Yeah, so it's a pretty serious thing. But what I was going back to, I knew a guy I went to school with at NC State. I've known this guy since my freshman year, like up until now. Like, we're really cool now. We talk about sports, like, in depth, not just like Kobe or LeBron or MJ. No, it's like we be breaking down X's and O's, like that type of conversation. I just found out like a couple months ago he has Crohn's disease. I was like, bro, I had no idea. He was telling me, bro, I didn't know you had. Because, again, going back to the point, bro, we don't be talking about stuff, bro. We just, what's up, bro? How you doing? How the family? Oh, you see the game? That was it. That's the general man conversation. You know what I'm saying? Not like, hey, man, I got to go to the doctor, man. Boom, boom. This going on. Got to have a colonoscopy. Boom, boom. That's not a normal conversation.
And you know what's
go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think what's making me a little bit more comfortable. You know my dad.
Sure.
My dad, as he gets older, we're now having more health conversations. Not that anything is wrong. Well, he did just tell me the other day that he got to go to the doctor for something, nothing serious, but just to get a check. But excuse me, we're having those conversations, and my dad is Val, you've never met my dad, but everyone else that knows my dad is a very OG type of old school father. Doesn't cry, straight face.
Yeah, he
understand
for sure.
Doesn't do like no emotion whatsoever.
Don't really smile like that. That's my. I remember.
He doesn't smile.
He don't really
you gotta
smile.
catch it. I'm gonna tell you about a moment we had this weekend. I saw him this weekend. We had a moment this weekend. Hey, that's my dog right here. That's my dog. I'm gonna tell you about it a little bit later. Everybody knows I'm a daddy's boy. That's my dog.
That's what's up.
But we're having those conversations where it's like, hey son, like, I'm going to the doctor for this. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I ain't feeling too well. I'm gonna go to the doctor. Hey, this is what's going on with me this week. My blood pressure may be a little bit high. And I'm like, okay. But we're having those conversations with him now makes me a lot more comfortable having those conversations with other individuals. So for me, it's like me and B can have these kind of dialects because the strongest man that I know is now being vulnerable with me.
Yeah.
And now, like, I can now let that guard down. Not that I didn't before, but it's even more so now. I can be vulnerable with other individuals, and now my community, me and B is very candid. Yeah. We talk about that, but I'll extend that to other individuals. Extend that to friends that may not be as comfortable talking about health issues. And I think it's beautiful. It's super, super dope that we can, as a black man, everything that we've been through for generations. We just had to be strong and we talked about this before. Even the generation before us, they had to be strong for survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so we always talked about financial survival. We always talked about emotional survival. We've never talked about health survival.
Mm-hmm.
We never talked about what it was like for a parent that was sick, that just they went to work because they had to
They
go to
had
work.
to. Yeah.
They couldn't call out of work.
Yeah. Or
You know,
certain things that they got done for the kids, they couldn't really do for themselves.
they couldn't do for themselves. They couldn't go
Yeah.
to the dentist.
I know that for a fact.
They couldn't get a
Yeah.
physical.
Yeah.
They couldn't get it. Oh, but my kids are gonna get a physical. That's survival.
Yep.
That's survival. Oh, we're gonna go to the dentist at 7:30 in the morning because I gotta be at work by 9. I can't miss that time. I don't have any more time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you start looking at, like, when you start processing those things, like, their health could have been prevented if they had been, one, in a more comfortable place where they can talk about it. You know, a lot of elders may have passed away because what you just said, the resources.
Yeah.
They don't have the resources. They don't have the resources, and with resources becomes knowledge.
And knowledge becomes action.
Knowledge becomes,
Because when you
Ooh,
know
drop the
better,
bomb
because
for
when
us.
you
Drop
know
the bomb
better,
for us.
you what?
You
Do better.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
You already know. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man.
But
Seti, this was like super dope idea. This has kind of been on my mind for a very long time, like for at least a couple years. It's just
yeah,
moving on certain things. It's hard to, it's hard when you got life in the way. So, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I appreciate y'all
Yeah.
having me. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this type of space is so important.
mhm.
You know, like when you talk about normalizing this conversation for men and having that space where there's education and support
Yeah.
and experience that can be shared that can lead to prevention. You never know who is watching you.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
like you never know who is, like how you said, Mazzetti, your dad is the strongest guy that you know, strongest man you know. And because he's opening up, that causes you to open up. And so now that you can have those conversations, you never know what young men are watching you and saying like, oh, he's talking about it. Like I can talk about it too.
Yep.
It's so funny
Yeah.
too, Brandon, because the example in my mind when I was talking about those medical bills, like, you know, how they can get crazy. The example in my mind came from a man that I knew that had Crohn's disease. So, and didn't have insurance at the time and was in and out of the hospital.
Good God.
So I I'm like, wow, look at the dots being connected, you know, but these forums are just so important, you know, so just, yeah.
So you know, and for someone that's dealing with health situations or issues, that's like we've said a couple of times, that's reversible.
Mhm.
What would be your advice to them as the first step, second step, and then third step? Like, and then put together a plan for someone. We don't have to go into detail because, of course, if they want details, they got to come see you. We can put your information.
There you go.
We can put your information in the link.
Yeah.
But just a very like base level, like what can they do to begin to that process for that?
So I attribute 3 different things. And I'll throw those 3 words in there, but I'll say first, and this is kind of new, take the pressure off. Like you have to start. You know, you may have an idea of what it is that you want, but you start from where you're at and the time is going to pass anyway.
Yep.
You know, so dedication, number 1, and that's loaded, right? You know, that's loaded, but cliche, health is wealth. We may all have, you know, a savings account or whatever we're doing to save for our future. What we do today is what's going to is what we're going to live from tomorrow. Like we might be saving for 20 years from now. So just like how we put a deposit into our savings or a 401 or whatever that case may be, deposit into your health.
Deposit in that health, man. Put that
Yes.
sweat equity in.
Yeah, yes.
Put that sweat equity in.
What you do today is going to matter tomorrow. Like it's going to. So begin to show up for yourself. Dedication, that would be one. But not, you don't have to pressure yourself. One thing at a time, even if it's going for a walk, you don't have to, bench press 400 pounds and you haven't been to the gym in 2 years or whatever the case may be, or you haven't worked out. Like it can be a walk. Yeah, right. It don't have
what
to
you
be
doing,
like
man?
that.
Get up, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do what feels good for you.
Yeah.
Change some of those, those patterns that there's so much when you talk about nutrition. So I'll start with that. Second, consistency. Make it, just one day after another. Like you start, and we all start, and sometimes we fall off. It's okay. If you fall off for a week, just keep going. Like it's little things like, let me take the Kool-Aid out and let me do water. Or if I'm going to drink some juice, let me do half juice, half water. Like, what are some things that are like, that you can step by step, and understand that no changes are going to be made overnight. Yep. Let's say you are on medication and it is something that you want to reverse. Mm-hmm. And it is reversible. I'm gonna say I know plenty of people that come with the diagnosis, like I think it was 96 million people last year, or maybe earlier this year, that were diagnosed with pre-diabetes. Maybe most of you can look that up. But that's reversible.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to.
I was about to give him some numbers now.
Yeah. But it's like, but you have to know, like, it's not going to if that's your goal and you start today, it probably will not change by next week. It may not even change by next month, but that time is going to pass anyway. Mm-hmm. So why not just do these steps day by day that are going to reverse? Everybody's situation is different, but if you just take those steps and you just take the pressure off, you don't have to just take the pressure off. Just do it piece by piece. And, and listen to this podcast. Listen to this.
I like that. I like that.
These is for them. Come to the Gentleman's Guide and get these tips. Having that space of support, or finding, something that is like-minded in what you're trying to do. Again, you never know who's watching you. It's okay to be open, strength and vulnerability, and orange sharpens orange, just like we said earlier. So
say it again, real quick. Say it again. You said what? Sharpens what? It remind me of that Glorilla, that recent Glorilla interview.
Yeah, the recent. Yeah.
He said, "What you say? Say it again." I love the Baltimore accent. Man. I love it, bro. I love that.
It's dope, man. That's my homie, man. One last question for you.
Yes.
As we begin to wrap up, this has been probably one of the best episodes that I've had, and it's near and dear to my heart. One, because as I get older. Two, because of who it is, and just three, I think it needs to be heard. So for anybody that's out there that's a little bit nervous to express what they're dealing with, how can they begin that journey? And just let them know, one, how to get in contact with you, and two, once they get in contact, what can they do?
So the first thing I would say, because everyone is different, everyone's going through their own journey, mm-hmm. and I do believe that you do have to come to a place of comfort within yourself with maybe something that you're going through, or something that you feel, you're not quite ready for everyone to know about it. which is okay.
Mhm.
So maybe for yourself first, kind of writing down what you want to see for yourself. And then really evaluating, like, who is my trusted source? Do I have a trusted source that I can speak with? Who is someone that I know will not judge me? Is it a judgment-free zone? Because
Mhm.
So maybe taking that step with going to a trusted source first. I would say also, you never know who's dealing with what you're dealing with. There are sometimes there's been things I have not wanted to say, and I'm like, oh, that probably sounded stupid, or why did I ask that question? And that would happen so much in school to where, like, I'd be like, dang, like, I can't believe I asked that. And then when we go on break, everybody like, we so happy you asked that question because none of us knew what we were talking about or what
Yeah,
you
for
were
sure.
talking about. So it's like everybody, we're in this together. Like, we're all human, like
Yeah.
we um, don't rob yourself of the opportunity to grow because you are scared.
Yes.
Do it
Yes.
scared. And then if you would like to contact me, Fresh Life Fitness is my platform. My website is www.freshlifebrand.com. I do have email there. I do have an email platform. You can send me an email. That was, I would say, be the best way to reach me as of now. And also, I'll give you contact information too, because believe it or not, I am growing. Just like how we said, we took a moment to bring to this, and life is life, and I am beginning to take things off the shelf that I feel like are purposeful and be, like, no, this is what you're being led to do.
Absolutely.
And what could you be holding up for someone else because you're not being obedient?
Yeah.
So I am growing. We will be growing together.
So I'm gonna say a couple things right here. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. First thing I'm gonna say, his older brother Gerard, Reverend Gerard, Pastor Gerard, he will be profound. I'm gonna use his language. He will be profound in the words in which you used in this space right here.
Joke always
so
preaching.
It's
even his wife, wait, what he preaching about now? What you preaching about now? What you talking about? Go ahead. I love him.
That's my dog, man. Shout out to OJ. It really just reminded me of something that he would really just say, and now that tells me that you're in your calling. You're super in your calling, because just the last little snippet of what you just said it reminded me of something that he would say to me, and you just said those same words. So I want to say that. 2,
to God be the glory.
God be the glory, man.
Go ahead. I got you. I'm a pivot up. I'm a piggyback off of that, but go ahead. I don't want to cut you off on that last point.
2, I want to say to she also said that if someone needs the space to say some things that they don't feel comfortable, always be sure to, if you want to reach out to Brandon or I for resources, just feel comfortable. Y'all absolutely have that space to reach out to them. We are more than willing and able to help anyone that needs resources. And 3, the last thing, and this is, I'm talking to me. My nutrition is trash. I like pork on my fork. Swine is my divine.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I need help with.
Pork ain't good for you, Daddy. Pork got me to be 75.
Pork is not good for you. Pork got me to be 75.
Yes, Lord.
Hold up now. Now y'all ain't talking about, if y'all don't give me my bacon,
I want bacon. I want bacon.
I want bacon. I want bacon. I want bacon. No.
I like it. And I ain't ashamed of it.
You a good son.
Oh, that is my move.
Yo, I love that. Classic.
Oh my God.
Classic.
But all jokes aside, man, this was super beautiful. Before I want you to say what you wanted to say, B. I don't want to neglect you
No.
on that.
I was gonna say, you know, the story of the man that was drowning in the ocean. You know, you heard this story before, where God's sitting in the boats, and he's like, and then the man dies, goes to heaven, like, man, why you ain't saved me? He's like, man, I sent you 3 boats, stupid. Like, what you talking about? Going back to what you saying, how you're in your calling, Val. How I know that that's a fact is because earlier on in your story, when you was talking about people coming to you and asking all these questions, that's God sending you the boats. You know what I'm saying? That's confirmation right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, God use anybody, anything, anybody. We know this, right?
Yeah.
But people coming to you, why you asking me this? Why? Don't question it, bro. It's a reason why they asking you. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So like, that's confirmation. Like, yo, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Thank
keep
you.
going,
It's the
keep
reason
going.
we did this tonight. Like,
Yeah.
this
Come on,
is
man.
crazy. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Hey.
like, definitely. I'm just so happy that I'm excited. I'm happy. I appreciate y'all having me here because as
Absolutely.
much as it's just been like great for me to be here, it's a push for me as well to, you know, like, stop playing. You know,
Mhm.
don't let life and distractions get in the way of what you know you should be doing. I mean, this has just been great. I appreciate y'all so much.
Beautiful.
We really appreciate this. Like I said, this has been near and dear to my heart. I've been wanting to get it on the books and the calendars
Absolutely.
for since we saw each other last year. So
I know, right?
I knew it had to happen. I knew it had to happen, and it couldn't have happened at a better time. It couldn't have happened at a more profound time. We took a little break, so this is us revamping, and I couldn't ask for a better episode to revamp with than having you on. And so gentlemen, guys, go get checked out. The message of the day: go get checked out, man. Put your health first, because without your health, you can't be there for your family.
That's it. That's it. The gentleman's guide,
That's it,
man. We out of here.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.
Turn this off.